Welcome back. Faceoff Sports Network. I'm Anthony Servino, going to bring you my top, way too early stashes for your Dynasty Fantasy Football team in 2024. Let's get right into it. And the first player we want to talk about today is Mr. A.T. Perry, wide receiver from the New Orleans Saints. And A.T. Perry really began to flash down the stretch of the 2023 season. If you take a look, 2 out of the final 3 games, week 16 puts up 10.5 PPR points against the Rams. Really just caught a 35-yard touchdown. And then in week 18, saw a little bit of extended playing time, a 47.7% of snap share, ran 17 routes, and caught all 3 of his targets, both of which in the red zone for 3 receptions, including 2 touchdowns and 53 yards. Wide receiver 12 on the week. Good for 20.3 PPR points in fantasy. Now, what's going on with the Saints? Why do we want to keep A.T. Perry? Why do we want to go get A.T. Perry? Well, we know one thing. Michael Thomas is not reliable for injury or otherwise. We know Olave's a stud. Outside of those 2, Rashid Shaheed. Now, I believe he's an exclusive rights free agent, which means the Saints are probably going to keep him on the cheap. But because of the uncertainty of Michael Thomas, there's always going to be that path to playing time for A.T. Perry. His cost, it's not bad at all. If you take a look, keep trade cut value, a 2024 late third, the 3.10 to be exact. I'm not personally big on 3rd, 4th round rookie picks. Sure, you could try to find the diamond in the rough, but we know what A.T. Perry can do on the field. We've seen him flash a little bit. He's entering year 2 in this New Orleans offense with Derek Carr. I wouldn't mind flipping a late 3rd round pick to go get A.T. Perry. There's also the situation where Rashid Shaheed does not return for one reason or another. So keep an eye on A.T. Perry. He's certainly somebody I want to go grab and stash if I'm in a deeper Dynasty Fantasy Football league. The next guy I want to talk about, Khalil Shakir. Khalil Shakir, he looks like he could potentially be the real deal with the Buffalo Bills. Now, take a look, 6 foot, $196, fifth round pick in 2002. Look at some of his workout metrics coming out. Doesn't fly off the paper, but he's good enough. 85th percentile 40-yard dash, 72nd percentile speed score, 81st percentile burst, but he plays faster than those metrics suggest. If you ever see Khalil Shakir play football, he's really outstanding. Now, Stephon Diggs. What the hell is going on with Stephon Diggs? He doesn't know, which he is suggesting to the press. Stephon Diggs, we know in Minnesota, he began to unravel a little bit towards the end. It became a little bit of a headache. We saw a little bit of that the past 2 seasons, especially this year in Buffalo. We've also seen Stephon Diggs. He wasn't on the field for some crucial plays down the stretch. He wasn't getting his normal target share. He wasn't putting up his normal numbers. What does that mean? Maybe he's getting a little bit older and falling off the proverbial cliff. And I know he's not ancient, but Stephon Diggs also isn't the biggest wide receiver on the field. He has a lot of miles on him, takes a beating because he plays hard. So there's that factor. There's also the factors that, hey, this offense played better when we were not funneling targets to Stephon Diggs and spreading the ball around a little bit more. So Stephon Diggs, there's no guarantee, and I get there's a contract situation, but there's no guarantee he's back with the Buffalo Bills. How about the rest of their wide receivers? Well, Trent Sherfield's a free agent. Who cares? The big one, Gabe Davis. Looks like he's about to hit the free agent market. He's an unrestricted free agent. So Gabe Davis is essentially free to go sign elsewhere unless they slap the tag on him, which I don't know if they're going to do. Gabe Davis, we know, is the number 2 wide receiver on this football team. We are in a world where we could see both Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, the number 1 and number 2 wide receivers for the Buffalo Bills, no longer on this team. Now, yeah, they're going to bring in other guys in that scenario, but there's a path for Khalil Shakir to open up 2024 as a number 2 wide receiver on the Buffalo Bills. Quarterback Josh Allen, we know, is outstanding in fantasy. Keep trade cut value an early third. I would pay a late second for Khalil Shakir and the possibility of what he brings to the table moving forward. I absolutely positively love Khalil Shakir. I'm trying to get my hands on him every league I can get, especially at this price point, because if you wait until free agent hits and these guys leave, or Diggs is cut, or Diggs is traded, and Gabe Davis is on another team, the cost of Khalil Shakir is going to skyrocket, which means you got to go buy him now while the cost is still cheap. Let's move on to a Cincinnati Bengal, Andrei Iosivas. I'm butchering the name, but we know who he is. Now, he's one of the cheaper guys on this list. He's more of a dart throw, where like Khalil Shakir, I can tell you, he's going to have a role, and he's going to make plays next season. Andrei, he's a dart throw, but he's a dart throw I'm willing to go buy for the keep trade cut value of a 4th round pick. Why is that? There is a clear path to playing time on the Cincinnati Bengals. If you take a look at the Cincinnati wide receiver free agent list, Trenton Irwin's restricted. He'll probably be back. T. Higgins, unrestricted. Tyler Boyd, unrestricted. They can use a franchise tag to keep T. Higgins, but they got to pay a lot of people. You got to pay Chase. You got a lot of guys to pay. You can't put all this money in your wide receiver room. Yes, there's a chance they keep Higgins, but there's more of a realistic chance that both Boyd and Higgins are on other teams next year. And yeah, the Bengals are, like I said, I'll be straight with you. They're probably going to bring in more wide receivers, whether it's in free agency, a trade, or the draft. But Andrei is a guy who could potentially step up into that old Tyler Boyd role, depending on how this shakes out. Now, the biggest game we've seen out of him, Week 18, where he played 93.7% of the snaps. He ran 31 routes, caught 5 of 7 targets for 36 yards and 2 touchdowns. He popped wide receiver 11 on the week. Recency bias, right? But is he that good to where dynasty managers are going to want to hold on to him or say, no, I want a 2nd round pick for him? That's not going to happen. Maybe you pay a late third, but a 4th round pick should be enough to go get this guy before free agency and before he starts getting some more buzz, because I do think he showed us enough in Week 18 to get some buzz. 6'3", 205, 91st percentile speed score, 96th percentile catch radius. I like some of these workout metrics here. Go get Andrei for a 4th round pick in your dynasty leagues right now. Let's move on to another wide receiver I'm kind of digging, and another wide receiver who could emerge as a number 2 or number 3 wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we assume Baker Mayfield's going to be back at quarterback, but this is Trey Palmer. Now, Palmer, he's flashed when given the opportunity. So how does his wide receiver room shake out? The big one, Mike Evans. He's about to hit the free agent market. We know he's getting up there in age. No guarantees that he's back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which means Godwin lines up as a wide receiver 1. There's a good chance Trey Palmer emerges as the number 2. You can go get this guy for an early 3rd round pick. Well worth it, because I like what Trey Palmer has shown us on the football field. He's had a few nice games down the stretch. Like, a lot of these stashes are guys who've shown us something down the stretch. You got the recency bias in our memory. We want to go buy in while the price is low. Trey Palmer, Week 17, New Orleans, 16.4 PPR points, 4-5 for 84 and a touchdown. We also seen him show up a little bit in the postseason. Week 19, wildcard weekend, Philadelphia Eagles, goes 1 of 2 targets for 56 and a touch. There's something here. Now, I'd like to see more of Trey Palmer. But who knows where Tampa Bay is, right? Like, because you move off of some of these old guys like Evans, some old heads on their defense. Maybe they're heading into a transition period. They want to get a little bit younger, which means we could see Trey Palmer line up as a number 2 or number 3 wide receiver on this football team. We know how he has a rapport with Baker Mayfield. So again, for the price of Trey Palmer and for the little bit of flash that we've seen from this guy, oh, by the way, 98th percentile 40-yard dash. He has that speed that could take the top off of a defense. I'm going to buy into Trey Palmer right now. Let's start winding this baby down. 2 more to go. Kendre Miller is our first running back of the day. And another Saint, another meh offense, but the Saints running back room's wonky, right? Kamara's probably coming back. Jamal Williams is actually still under contract. And here we have Kendre Miller. So why do we like Kendre Miller? Because if you listen to this show going into last season, I told everybody Jamal Williams was fool's gold. He would have had 0 touchdowns if Jameis Winston didn't give him that gimme in the final week. Jamal Williams sucks. He was a serviceable back in Green Bay, and he had that monster year of touchdowns with the Detroit Lions and a top 5 offensive line. He was a product of system, and he floundered with the New Orleans Saints. If the Saints want to win football games, want to get to the playoffs, want to go far, it's not going to be on the back of Jamal Williams. Kamara still has some little gas left in the tank, but Kendre Miller's the next man up. We should see a big step up from Kendre Miller. Now, he's going to be a little bit costly compared to the other guys on this list. If you want to go buy Kendre Miller, he's going to cost you a second-round rookie pick. But with the potential opportunity ahead, splitting time. Yes, I'm saying splitting time with Kamara because there's a real-world chance where, okay, Kamara's getting a little bit older. He still was okay last year, but we need to get this Kendre Miller guy the ball because he played really well in college. He flashed a little bit when healthy because he did deal with injuries last year. And, we can't really trust Jamal Williams to be anything more than a plotter. The best game we've seen out of Kendre Miller, season finale against Atlanta, pretty good run defense there, where he had 79 total yards and a touchdown. Is that enough to provide? Or is that enough for the Saints to say, you know what, we're just going to make him number 2? No, but they also drafted him for a reason. They know what he can bring to the table when healthy. He battled a lot of injuries, did Kendre Miller in his rookie campaign. And again, is Kendre Miller a better option than Jamal Williams? You better damn right believe so that he is. Because Jamal Williams, I don't know how he makes this roster next year. I don't know how he sees playing time for the New Orleans Saints this year for that terrible performance that he's shown us throughout the course of the season. Again, following up a sensational year with the Detroit Lions, product of the system, all those touchdowns, what an absolute dud, piercing the hearts of fantasy managers everywhere. Kendre Miller, go buy him for a mid-second round pick. We're potentially looking at a big roll ahead for the impending second-year running back. Let's close this thing out. Noah Gray, one of the cheaper guys on this list, 4th-round pick. You can get him for. He's a tight end. Who's he behind? Travis Kelce. Why are we trying to buy Noah Gray? Because there's a possibility that if the Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl, we have to think about the retirement of Travis Kelce. Do I think Travis Kelce's actually retiring? No, I'm not buying it. I think he has some juice left. Did Travis Kelce regress this year? Some will say yes, but if you remember, he did enter the year with a lower body injury. He missed week 1 because of it. He never really looked quite the same until the postseason. Kelce is getting older. And even if he does come back, yeah, we know he's going to be the guy. But what if injuries catch up to him? What if the Chiefs decide, hey, we need to get Noah Gray involved more? And what if Kelce does hang up his cleats? There's a lot of different scenarios that can play out. What I do know is that you can get Noah Gray for a 4th-round pick. We're pretty sure that he's the heir apparent to this tight end 1 position for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs once Kelce does move on or does get banged up for a long period of time. I like Noah Gray a lot. Big body, 6'3", 240. solid workout metrics coming out of college. He knows the system. He has a little bit of a budding rapport, Patrick Mahomes, with some of the opportunities he does get. This is a pure dart throw. I want some tight end depth. I want to take a shot on a guy who could potentially pop if he does see the field. That guy is absolutely positively Noah Gray. All right, guys, this is a sensational start to the Dynasty Fantasy Football season here at the Fantasy Football Faceoff Network. I'm botching the name. We'll be back with more videos just like this, live shows, questions and answer shows. You know what we bring to the table here at the Faceoff Sports Network. I'm Anthony Servino. We'll see you next time.